For most organizations, what hinders data availability is failed backup and recovery. Part of the reason is that modern services and cloud acceleration is putting a strain on legacy data protection solutions. We see upwards of a 60% failure rate in data recovery due to failed backup and recovery processes. Let's look at a real-life example of how you can use native backup and recovery services straight from the cloud to help you modernize your data protection in line with your IT. In this example, we will be using AWS, but you can also use Azure or GCP.
Veeam Backup for AWS can be accessed through the AWS Marketplace, a true native cloud service. To start, we first log into our Veeam Backup for AWS service. The overview provides us with summary information on our backup posture. Here, we can see all the protected instances and data, as well as the current restore points. But what about the cloud instances that are not under protection? Veeam Backup for AWS will also provide this information as well. Since we have a set of VMs that are not currently protected, let's create a new policy to back them up. A policy is a set of rules and processes to determine how we back these up, like every hour and if we use snapshots. To start, we simply provide a new name and the account that has access to back these instances up. Next, we select the region our instances are located. This enables you to set regional backup policies or global policies as needed. Next, we get to select the instances we want to back up. By default, it's all of them. However, we can choose a specific set just for this policy. We now simply select the instances we want and hit apply. In this case, we are only showing one instance for the backup, but this could be hundreds to thousands as needed. We can also use snapshots if the workloads and applications support this. Snapshots enable you to have multiple restore points during the day, taking a snapshot of the data image itself. This provides a super fast and convenient way for frequent backups of high-value data. Now we need to set the backup settings. First, we select a backup repository. And then the data retention. How long are we going to keep the backup for? In our case, 10 days. However, policies may mean you need to keep the data backups longer. And finally, the rate of backup. Based on the value of the data, you may want to back up every 15 minutes. In our case, we are setting this for every 8 hours. The tool also provides a cost estimation of the backup storage and traffic it expects based on your settings. By default, it calculates the cost on a 3% data change rate and 70% storage usage. The final step we can set up retry to ensure the backup completes even if it had a blocker issue from an earlier attempt, and notification of the backup status. And that's it. Our cloud data backup has been configured. While the schedule will kick off and back up the instances in the policy, we can also manually start the first backup process. Let's look at the restore experience. We are going to mimic a disaster, in this case, a critical VM and its data being accidentally deleted. We have already selected the restore points from the backup we created earlier to save some time. We can select the latest snapshot, which has the most recent copy of our production data, and select to perform an instance restore the whole VM. We simply select the instance or instances we want to restore and the service account that has permissions. Next, we can choose to restore it to its original location or a new location as needed. For logging and audit purposes, we can add a reason for the restore. And that's it! The VM has now been restored with little disruption to the business. Veeam Backup for AWS provides you the ability to adopt cloud faster and safer, giving you the keys to hybrid cloud acceleration.
Even with the most modern data protection, cyber threats are still one of the biggest security threats for any enterprise organization. These malicious attacks seek to disrupt businesses by attacking data or even holding it ransom. In 2020, ransomware attacks grew by 700% alone. However, with modernized protection like Veeam, 96% of organizations that were affected by ransomware cut their average recovery costs down to $5,000, with 76% of companies not paying anything at all. How? Let's look at an example of how easy it is to protect your data with immutability from Veeam.
To ensure we have immutability from ransomware, we are first going to set up a new Cloud Object Store repository. In this example, we are going to use Amazon S3, which supports data immutability. We give our new storage repository a name and the service account that has permission to create backups to object stores. In this example, we are using AWS's commercial cloud, but we can also select China and US GovCloud. To continue, we either need to choose an existing storage bucket on AWS or create one. Let's create a new bucket. First, we name our bucket and select the region. We will use the default for now. Next, we will keep Block Public Access on, for obvious reasons, and then select Advanced Settings. We are going to enable Object Lock. This ensures data cannot be easily deleted, as it works like a time lock safe. Data is protected, and you can also ensure adherence to data compliance regulations. And now we finalize the creation of the bucket. Let's return to our original wizard, and now select the bucket we just created. We also need to create a new folder to store the backup data into. And we also give this a recognizable name. Next, we start the configuration for ransomware protection. First, we can limit the amount of storage to ensure there are no runaway cloud costs. Next, we make the recent backups immutable. This ensures protection for all the backup images saved to the AWS Object Store from any form of accidental or malicious access. They cannot be changed, modified, or deleted. Any restoration is 100% verified and ransomware free. We see the final summary and can finish the configuration. Next, let's set up a scale-out backup repository, a fancy way of saying automatically replicating your backups to scale storage systems like cloud. Let's look at one we created earlier to add this capability. Here, we turn on the capability to replicate our backups automatically. Here, we are configuring two attributes. One, to automatically archive our backups of 14 days or older to the object store we set up earlier. And two, to automatically copy any new backups there are as well. That way, we are always protected. Now, we finalize our configuration and we're done. The system will now replicate all of our new backups as well as archive older ones to our object store, where they will be 100% protected from ransomware. If we are attacked, we can simply restore to the latest production copy with little to no cost or downtime.